Hey, what's going on? This is Mike Dorsey, and I am here with Rich Williams. And this brother, the creator of AWSP, 20 plus years working with some of the top athletes in the world in the NBA. The brother's record speaks for himself. And today, though, I had a question for him because I see individuals that are ridiculously explosive. They win dunk contests, they're jumping out of the gym, but they aren't the most muscular looking people. They don't look like they're extremely
Yeah,
powerful. And I see that, and I want to tap into the expert to tell me what's really going on, man.
man. I think that's one of the great questions. What makes us explosive? What makes athletes? What sets the pro athlete apart from the college athlete? What sets the college athlete apart from the high school athlete? And I think more importantly, how do we train this amazing system? And that amazing system, I'm going to say, is nervous system. Like when we look at a dunk contest, so you look at anybody dunking, you automatically, I think most people say, man, his muscles are really making him jump high. I mean, and I think that's the wrong way to look at it. What's making him dunk high is his nervous system. And what I mean by nervous system is his brain and the central nervous system and everything that goes along with this nervous system that sends signals to tell the muscle, I want you to jump higher, I want you to jump faster, I want you to jump at this rate. And some of the great athletes have this amazing nervous system that tells their muscles basically what to do
Mhm.
and tells them, and it can do it at a fast rate. So it's almost like if you took, I wish we could take this professional athlete and we can strip the skin, we can strip the fascia, we can break them down to just their nervous system and put them on court. And you know what you would see? You would see these great athletes, the great athletes that can dunk high, can jump high. You would see their nervous system just firing at a rate that's just faster than everybody else. So what
Wow.
that's basically saying, they're just sending these amazing signals to explode just like this. And I think that's something that, as a strength coach and as a performance coach, we don't look at enough.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, when you look at a dunk contest, you're not looking at the muscles. You're looking at this guy's ability to activate his central nervous system and his nervous system.
I have a question there. And so that being said, you all are at the top of the top when it comes to having like diagnostic, machinery and all of that. Is there any way to test someone's nervous system up front? This is question number one. And then two, can you train somebody's nervous system
Yeah.
to have that level of response?
Well, let's keep it simple. You heard of the vertical jump test, right? We test
Yes.
someone's vert. That's what that's testing. It's basically testing the nervous system, the ability of the nervous system to say, boom, I want you to jump and touch that.
Mhm.
So when you see someone with a high vert, for example, like a Vince Carter, who is known for having a high vert, or a volleyball player, if any minutes, they have extremely efficient nervous systems that are just really efficient at doing that. Now, we can get into the sports science and we can go a little deeper, but I'm saying for just if you just want to know how efficient someone's nervous system is from a vertical standpoint, you could just do a vertical jump.
Mm.
Now, when we get to training, it's a little bit more complex than that. And that's why I think strength and conditioning don't get enough credit for how we design programs. Now, one thing we got to ask ourselves, how does the nervous system get activated? Well, I think, in my opinion, I think it goes back to the adaptability, right? So when we jump on this earth, and I said, the human body is absolutely genius. Like, and I'm going to get to the nervous system. So I can imagine myself stepping on the planet Earth for the first time, and automatically my body's saying, okay, I got to adapt to this. I need to get food. So I need to react fast. I need to grow to be able to touch things. So I need to act. I need to go get it. It's just the nervous system putting this game plan to help survival. How do we relate that to training? Adaptability. So this is the difference between exercising and training.
Mm,
Exercising is training for a moment, right? It's the sweat, it makes you feel good, it's benefits in that. But when we get to training, training is training for a goal. Only way to get that goal, like say if I set a goal, I want to have a high vertical jump, and I put these exercises together that I want to help me get there. If I don't put myself in adaptable ability to be able to reach this goal, the body won't adapt. So say if I go every day and I do a bench, well, bench press doesn't have anything to do with a verse. Say if I do a hip thrust or a squat. Say if I do a squat for 135 pounds. At the beginning of that squat, right? I'm doing my nervous system is registering that, oh, this guy's doing something that's 135 pounds. I need to recruit the muscles to be able to do that. The muscles grow. Now, say if I keep doing 135 pounds, at some point the nervous system is going to say, hey man, I've already built you to be able to do that.
mm.
So what's the next logical thing? I'll go up and weight. Now the body said, oh, okay, yeah, and 10 more pounds. I need to adapt. I need to recruit more muscles to be able to do that exercise.
Mm.
So if you're following me, you got to put yourself in this adaptable type of training. That's where you start to learn about the nervous system, how the nervous system fires muscle fibers, how it works with the intrinsics of the muscle. So if I start to know that, I start to know, okay, if I do 135 pounds over a couple of weeks, the nervous system will recognize that, create more muscle fibers. Now I need to find a way to increase that to make the nervous system adapt to that. What did we accomplish? We accomplished more muscle fibers. We accomplished a more in-depth nervous system to be able to adapt that gives you strength.
So I guess my question now then is interesting that you say that, because my brain was now going muscle versus nervous system, but it's actually both working together.
Together, right?
And so, and I guess it's not either or. It's not like I want to
No,
build strong muscles and
no,
I can forget about my nervous system, but it's
no.
also the notion of not just having a strong nervous system without having the muscles to be recruited by the nervous system, correct?
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. It starts with the nervous system. It starts with the nervous. If you don't know how to train that, which I believe step one in training that is being able to create an adaptive environment. Adaptive environment means creating a progressive program.
Mhm.
And that takes learning. And that's what I'm kind of excited about actually, because that's something that I'm going to be able to teach. We're going to look at, with AWSP, we're going to look at the science behind it. We're going to look at the methods that go into it, because there's many different methods of training the central nervous system and training a progressive program.
Mm.
And I would give a lot of, I like to say, the old school cats. They did a lot of studying behind that. So
Mm.
it's going to be fun to kind of bring that to light. But plain and simple, they go hand in hand. The central nervous system talks to the muscles, tell the muscles what's going on around this environment and how we're going to adapt to that environment.
So this is
Now,
powerful. This is powerful. Go
what's
ahead.
great about that, when you watch a dunk contest, these guys are gifted with it,
Mm.
right? Like their central nervous system just automatically, it's like wired in there to just be able to say, okay, I need you to react that fast. Now that's a gift, but that gift also takes training.
Mm. So now, it's interesting as you say that. Now I want to think about what is something you can leave for the individuals that are going to, take the training in the future to kind of get their mind frame around this nervous system integration with muscle fibers and the communication and all of that. Like just to get their basically to get them wrapped around that thought process, what's something they can do now on their own to start making that mental connection between the nervous system and the muscles and firing and explosion and all of that kind of stuff?
I think first take my course.
Mhm.
We'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
But I think more importantly for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I was a young strength coach, I didn't see that. I wasn't aware of that. And I think awareness. So when you're talking about wanting to increase performance, I think it's really simple. Pay attention to the nervous system.
Mhm.
Start learn what it's about. Like when we're going to do a course on it, and I think what I want students to understand when you take those kind of courses, those nervous systems and other kind of courses in that realm, that you don't actually see the exercise or you don't see the programming, you can get lost. You can say, well, that's not important because I can't see that far. I can't see how learning about the muscle fiber and learning about axons and neurons, how that's going to relate to helping my player jump high. And I think you can start there, because when it's going to come a time when a young strength coach he's going to want to be a strength coach. You want to going to develop his skills. And he's going to have to take a course that's going to talk about the nervous system. Mm-hmm. Take it serious. As a young strength coach, I didn't, so I had to revert myself back and I had to learn the central nervous system. And I had to say, okay, oh, now that's how it relates, start studying it. Like literally, like it's so much information out there that sometimes we go to the exercise, but we don't ever go to the root of the exercise. I promise you, first of all, if you take my course, we'll talk a lot about it. But if you just look up the nervous system and performance, you'll be like, it'll blow your mind. Mm. My recommendation for first step is take it serious. Take it serious. Look into the central nervous system. It's a ton of information, great information about it. And that's why I'm so excited to really start with the nervous system, because once we dive into it, you'll notice that it's the holy grail of strength and conditioning, because it starts there.
Well, I think this is really some good information. It helped me to get a firm understanding of what I'm looking at. And I think this also gave some of your prospective students something to really dive into and to start really, getting their feet wet when it comes to the nervous system and the integration of that with strength and conditioning, because it really is a lot more involved than they may have thought. So take this part of it seriously, because this is the actual route to getting maximum peak performance in the athletes that you're training.
Oh, for sure. And realize whenever you're looking at training, you're not looking at the muscles. You're looking at the central nervous system. Whenever we do testing, we're looking at the central nervous system. We're not even looking at the muscles, right? Like we matter of fact, we did a test on a guy today, and we want to test his glute activation, right? We didn't say, well, how strong is the glute? What we test first, we want to see how well the central nervous system can connect with the glutes to make it fire appropriately. Wow. It's all about timing, right? Like movement in general, if you really look at it, it's about timing. And the central nervous system controls this time. So the moment you take a step, your central nervous system is saying, oh, Mike's about to take a step. I need this muscle to contract to be able to stabilize that leg. So basically, he doesn't fall over. It's all about timing, jumping, reaction times. It's just a communication of timing between the central nervous system and the muscle. Now, think about this, Mike. For example, if I go to dunk and my nervous system doesn't tell one part of my muscle to fire at the right time, that's where injuries occur. It could be from fatigue. We always talk about fatigue, but we never talk about neuromuscular fatigue. Wow. Right? Think about that. Everything is about timing. For me, for these athletes to run, step, I give you another great example. We do sometime an overhead squat. It's an assessment to look for muscle imbalance. So, for example, if a guy squats and his knees go inward, we call that knee valgus, right? What that really is, Mike, that's the brain talking to the glute max saying, look, I need you to control the knees so they don't go in. Whenever the knee goes into knee valgus a little bit too much, that's just a mistiming between the brain and parts of the muscles in the body. So when I train that, I say, okay, I know it's a weakness there, right? So I need to neuromuscularly wake up that muscle. It could be with either balance, it could be with releasing certain muscles so that the brain doesn't recognize that one muscle is tighter than the other. That's just my expertise of saying where I should go. Right? It's simple, but it's complicated, right? It's timing.
It's time, and that to me, that made so much sense. And I think that's probably a good spot to kind of to end this conversation, is really talking is your conversation on timing and how the central nervous system really comes back to timing. And is it firing at the right time?
There
Is
you
it
go.
activating the right muscle
Right
groups?
time.
Is it doing so with the right amount of information being transferred? And I guess that point really comes back to the notion of what are, and I guess this is what you will cover in the training, what are the things that impact the timing? What are the things
Yeah,
that impact those messages not being sent? Is there interference or blocking there? What things, cause it to the message to get confused, where maybe they're
exactly.
engaging the wrong muscles?
Yeah,
And so this is all what everyone will learn in the training that you're putting together, and AWSP will have available to help these up and coming, strength and conditioning professionals to really learn how to do this at a high level.
for sure. That's what it's all about. And that's why I love the nervous system. It's one of my favorite things to study. I learned strength and conditioning through the nervous system. Once I figured that out, I kind of knew where I want to go. I knew how to look at muscle imbalances. I knew how to look at injuries. I knew how to look at performance, but I started there.
So hold on, you just said I learned strength and conditioning through the nervous system. As we kind of wrap this up, give us some receipts. How long have you been doing strength and conditioning, and where have you done strength and conditioning at the highest levels? Just kind of, because
Well,
that I think will give some people some receipts as to who we're talking about. You learned through the central nervous system, and that resulted in you working at the highest level with the highest level athletes in the world.
yeah, I've been doing it for, this is my 21st season, 22nd. Wow, 22nd season in the NBA.
Mm.
And I'll be honest with you, I didn't get it until midway through my career. Working in the NBA for 22 years is a long time, but that tells you how complicated the human body could be, if I could say, and how much time it takes to learn it. So 22 years in the NBA, working with some of the best athletes in the world. And the truth is, I learned more from them and then they learned from me. Literally, I said the same thing you said. I was like, how do these guys jump so high?
Mhm.
And it started there.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's amazing, man. And, I'm looking forward to coming up with some more questions to
Of
ask you,
course.
because, being able to kind of pick your brain from your expert perspective is really beneficial to me, but I think it'll also be beneficial to all those up and coming strength and conditioning professionals that are looking to take their game to the next level.
Oh man, I'm excited to talk about it. I think it's gonna be fun.
Awesome, man. All right, man. Well, we'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. Bye-bye.